A few days ago, I was out banging around through the antique stores and secondhand shops around the Billings and Laurel area, and I managed to stumble upon this little beauty right here. You can imagine my surprise, because they had a pretty fair price on it, and it's newer. I didn't think it would really classify as a classic model train, though, but after doing a little research online, this is what I found. Hello, I'm Ron. Welcome back to another edition of Classic Model Trains. Haven't seen you guys since the 4th of July weekend. Been kind of busy here in the place, doing a little work to the layout, adding a few things. I'll bring you in and let you drink it up here in just a little bit. This locomotive is a GE Dash-8 40B Dash-8 40, or it's also referred to as a B40 Dash-8. This particular locomotive here was manufactured in 1999 under the Walthers Trainline name. Seems to be 1999 was just a little bit ago. I mean, my van is 1990. Oh, I guess it was 23 years ago now. So that pretty much classifies it as a classic model train, I believe. Seeing as how Walthers seems to have managed to have bought up all the other HO scale locomotive manufacturers that existed out there, they had to make it a little more difficult on us, and they had to offer 3 different lines of their particular product. So, you know, instead of the cheapy stuff, they call it the Walthers Trainline. Trainline is priced at the toy or children market and what they refer to as the cost-sensitive beginners. They've got what's called Walthers Mainline, which is the normal stuff that they've always offered throughout their existence before they started buying up everybody. And then their top tier is what they refer to it as, is the Walthers Proto line, which became available in 2005 after their acquisition of Lifelike and their Proto 2000 line that Lifelike offered. They absorbed it, warmed it up real good, redecorated it, sent it out in their own boxes. So 3 different lines of Walthers stuff. Here's a fun fact. In the Walthers Trainline edition, after Cox started building their own molds in the 74, 75 era, because initially they were made by Athearn, if you watch some of the earlier videos, Cox had their own molds. 1977, they decided to get out of the model train business. So they sold their stuff. Some of it went to Model Power, which I believe got absorbed into Walthers. And since Model Power had Cox molds, now Walthers Trainline is using the same molds from the early to mid 70s under the Cox name in their train line. Although they've been updated a little bit, made a little more prettier, and made the motors a little more fancier than what Cox offered. Same stuff, Model Power and Cox. You're buying it in Walthers Trainline stuff right now. The GE Dash-8 40B was made in 1988 to 1989 by the General Electric Transportation Division. A total of 151 Dash-8 40s were made available in the 2 years of production. Of course, when I got home, I had to immediately put this thing on the track, and you know, it's supposed to be really good name, but well, I'll tell you what. Let me throw it on the track for you and show you what I found out. We throw it on the track to get it to go, and it goes. It's got a great creep speed on it. This is creeping along right now, pulling 4 volts, 1/4 of an amp. But this is the thing I noticed here. This is completely wide open. We are right now pulling about 13 volts. And that is as fast as it goes. That thing is not setting any land speed records whatsoever. So I'm thinking, let's take it apart. Let's clean it up. See what's going on. Maybe it's just not getting voltage through the wheels. I've got to take off these coupler pockets. They bolt down into the body. They were nice enough to offer just the absolute finest in plastic couplers. Dogs are keeping the place safe from rabbits and helicopters currently. Once we get that, we're able to get the frame out of the shell. Oh yeah, it's a tight fit, I'll tell you. Oh, plus we've got the light that's going up for the front headlight. wired up in here. There we go. That came out of the shell. Yeah, now we can get this out of here. Come on, yeah. So this is what we see in here. 2 pickups coming off the front trucks. 2 pickups coming off the back trucks. Flywheels on the motor. Got a diode right there, which must be for the reversing, because when you put it in reverse, the rear headlight comes on and you go forward, front one comes on. But I want to get these trucks off and I want to get this board out so I can take this weight out. I'm kind of thinking that we might desolder these wires just to get things out of the way. Probably draw myself a little drawing so that way I don't forget how it goes. My soldering iron takes about 35 seconds to warm up because it's a good one. I went ahead and made my drawing right here for the colors of the wires and what we're going to take off. So in case I have a stroke between now and then, I'll remember how to put this back together. Pop these screws out right here. Get this main board out of the way up on the top. Got a healthy set of weights sitting here. Let's get those out of here. Just because I want to show you guys the whole thing. So we'll just dismantle it all the way to the ground. Extra weight. Oh, now look at that. We can get in there. Turns out these 4 screws down here don't hold the body on. They hold the motor in. I guess it's just the front coupling and the rear coupling that hold the body on. Get the motor up, get it out of the way. Here we've got our drive lines, and there's our trucks right in there. Get this driveline coupling off this input shaft on this gear tower. And these looks like they just kind of pop into the frame. Rotate this around. There we go. One of the truck assemblies is out. It's just got these little plastic teeth right there. Pawls, little plastic pawls right there. I'd kind of like it to be a little more meatier than that. It looks kind of frightening to me. You break one of those, then your damn trucks are going to be falling off every time you pick it up off the track. Give it a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle with downward pressure. Hear a little pop. Turn this sideways, and there is the frame. And of course this is that's more weight. Metal, boy, this thing is all metal. It's painted up real nice underneath. Now when these trucks are held like this, since they're Siamese, now of course the wire colors line up. Front truck, back truck can be used all the same way. Now I do see some wipers down inside there. Wipers are not my favorite thing to do. And I also see, well, you wouldn't believe it. It's full of carpet fibers and what looks like it might be kite string. Take these gear towers apart, clip right up in here, pop that off. One on this end, there's one on the other. Oh, look at all the gears in there. Holy moly. Can I pull it apart now? Yes I can. So there's one truck frame out. There's an axle, and there's all of our gears inside there. Hope none of them are cracked. Can I say that out loud? Maybe that's only a problem with the proto stuff. I don't know. So these little idlers all look to be about the same size. Here's a little pinion gear. Here's a little reduction gear. Everything's made out of plastic. Oh, look at the filth on that. Grease all up inside here. And the wheels, of course you can see the fuzz in them right up in this area. They're a little corrody looking. I'm going to end up taking this little Bright Boy chunk here from a rail cleaning kit, and I'll clean these wheels up like this till they're all shiny. I got one of these here fancy pencils that you rub on there. I guess I'll trim off some of this fuzz on the end, and we'll try it out. I'm gonna keep giving it hell till I either decide that it's really junk or not. And then I'm going to use denatured alcohol and Q-tips, and I'm going to pull all this grease off and this oil. I'm going to clean out all these boxes right here of all their grease and oil. Here's the motor right here. Of course, it's a sealed up can motor. It's even got plastic motor mounts on the bottom, these things here, that them first 4 screws go into. Okay, fellers. The fiberglass pencils seem to work out pretty good on these wheels. Another thing, since this has got wipers that pick up electricity off the back side of the wheels, you got to get in here and you got to clean them up too. Everywhere there's a little conductor space, make sure you clean it up. These wipers that are down inside here. Now, those are quite a bit tougher to get in there with anything. So, little Q-tip and some mineral spirits. Get in there, wipe them wipers off. Try to get them as clean as you can. Get all the fur out from them. This one had a significant amount of hair. In fact, you want to see how much hair it was? Ew! Look at it! Ew! 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 So now putting it back together, we had this big gear right up in here. Then we had this little feller. He sat down right in here. And then we had these medium-sized fellers. They were kind of all over the place. Yep. Put our screw gear in. Excellent time to give everything a little taste. Actually, I'm going to lubricate this one. I checked. There is no thrust washers. None in this. Take this other side, stick it on like that. I'm going to put this little clip on the top to hold this together whilst I fart around with trying to get these wipers in behind the wheels. Now, this wiper here, you can see it sticks out pretty far. This one don't. This one certainly don't. I want these to all have the exact same amount of tension on them. And, you know, as you know, on springs for brushes, they're held under a considerable amount of tension. And I think that these that are also doing pretty much the same thing, they're just picking up power and moving it someplace else, they got to have some spring tension on them in order to do their job well. So I like to push them out a little bit. I'm going to see if maybe my long needle nose here, if I can capture those. Do the same thing over here. Got the wheel ready to go. I'm going to come in here with my needle nose. I'm going to capture these wipers in the back where they belong. And we are going to, I'll give it one little more splash through here. And we're going to put this keeper on. Put one in first, push it, lock the other side in. Now there's one truck that's cleaned up and ready to go. Well, now that we've got the trucks all cleaned up, shiny, lubricated, let's put this back together. Pretty straightforward process. Get your wires up, twist the box, and then you snap the trucks into the frame. There's one. Bring these wires up, twist the box, line up the pins, and push it into the frame. Put these universal joint ends on the gearboxes. Let a snap friction fit on. They only go in so deep. Get it lined up, push it in, this drive line, put it in. Getting ready for the motor. I want to check it out and see how well it's spinning. Just not really fast. Transformer says 60%, 100%. I guess we know where our slow speed is coming from. That damn motor. And of course it's sealed up, so you can't get into it. Can I drip a little, just a little taste down under here? And golly, it can't get much worse, right? Give it a little taste on this end. I just don't like it. I want more performance. Well, let's put it together and see what it does. Let's get this motor in there, nestle it in its little cradle. Get these screws put in. Get our big old giant weights put in. And we've got our light control board to put in. Turns out these little black things right here help to insulate these cavities. So I could have took them off and tried to desolder through it. I had a pretty sharp soldering iron so I could get right in there, but this helps insulate for accidental shorts. So pop those off before you go to desolder the wires. Well, now we can take it to the track, see if it's going to run any better. I got to tell you, it's worse. This is full speed right now. 13 volts. It's pulling half an amp. That's its top speed. And the only thing I'm concerned about is that can motor. I couldn't get in there and clean it. Absolutely pegged out. That's the best she can do. I even took this little video down to my local hobby shop and showed the old boys that are down there. And they said, that looks like it's running at its top speed. There doesn't seem to be nothing wrong with that at all. I had the motor in my hand and They pull it up to their track. They go, man, that motor's working like it's supposed to. It's not. It's not. I did everything I could think of. I knew it was dirty on the inside, but I didn't want to disassemble it to get inside of it because it might not disassemble very well. One of the ideas I tried was spraying brake parts cleaner inside of it. I thought maybe the thing was all gummed up with old oil and it was all over the brushes. So I was ready to piss on a spark plug if I thought it'd do any good. Reassembled it? Nope, that didn't do any good. I took the motor, put it in a baggie, filled it full of Dawn dish soap and water, put it in my ultrasonic cleaner for 15 minutes. Thought maybe that'd do some good. That didn't do any good. Hell, I even heard there's an old trick with slot car motors. You run them underwater. You hook them up, put them underwater, turn them on, and it cleans them. I never did do that one though. I just ended up going down and getting another motor for it. Well, after hours and hours of farting around with this dang thing, I've determined that this motor is no good. Something's wrong with it. We can't tell though until we open it up. And I found another Walthers Proto motor, which looks identical to it. This little motor mount here is held on to the end with a couple of little tiny screws, little babies like that right there. So I got one of these flywheels pulled off, and let me tell you what, that is not an easy task. What I ended up doing, 2 big old screwdrivers. This is gonna just freak out some of them out there because it looks just abusive, but I don't have a puller. You get under here, I'm not too concerned about this shaft because I believe this motor to be junk. It gets a little bit warm and it just slows down to a crawl, as you've seen in that video. So come in here and pry. See, I'm starting to move it out a little bit. 2 screwdrivers, put it in. You can do it. And this says it fits 2011 and later 4 and 6 axle 920 diesels. Well, I mean, it's the same motor. It's going to end up going in here. Sometimes you just got to take a chance on parts. Get these new wires soldered on before I put this end cap on. Two screw holes right there. This is going to bolt in. Yes. Get some flux on it. Little dab of solder. Do the same over on this side. Red wire was the bottom. Put this on. Manipulate these little teeny tiny screws. Couple more teeny. Oh, did I luck out. 4th screw in. So there, flywheels are off, wires are in, motor mounts are back on. Now we got to worry about pressing these bastards back on. Here I've got the flywheels pressed on to the armature shaft. So you just had them out here loose. I put it inside of my bench vise and I slowly screwed it down, which pushes both sides in. Well, it's supposed to be equal, but then of course one side goes on before the other side does. So I got beer boxes that lay around all the time. So I cut up a couple shims and I put them on this one end like this. And then in the bench vise, I continued to squeeze it. And this kept this flywheel from going in too deep and running into the motor mount right here. It allowed me to get this one on all the way. Now these guys, they're both spaced out about the same. I can feel with my beer box gauges here. And I don't think it's critical. I mean, we don't need a dang caliper out or nothing like that to get these things to be where they need to be. These plastic pieces here go in the ends. They were timed for the drive line, so this is straight up and down. We'll put this one in straight up and down also, and they're just pretty much a friction fit in there. So now we're going to put this motor in again for about the 4th time and give it another shot around the track. That is more the speed I would expect to see out of it. That is 10 volts and it's doing what I would want it to be doing. So that motor was bad. I knew it. Them brushes, the commutators were in really bad shape. So this is quite a bit better. That's wide open right there. Yes. Now that I know she runs, we'll do a little wire management here using some tape, scotch tape to tape the wires down. Keep them out of the flywheels and motors and things like that. They have this front headlight just taped into the cab, you know, like all the high-end locomotives do. So I guess we got to do the same dang thing. Here, That looks pretty good, huh? Centered up on the back, right? It was hiding that screw right there. It is a tight fit too. Now they come with these coupler boxes. So what holds the body on is the screws that go through the couplers. I find it easier to put the boxes together down here on the ground and then put them in the loco. So we've got the screw and everything right there. And there we have it, all put together. Hopefully she's gonna run good again when we put it on the track as a completed unit. Well, I'm glad that thing is working like I expected it to work. I've had a lot of fun making this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You seen something you like my content, my style, hit that subscribe button. I've had a few people that have sent in donations, boxes full of trains, locomotives. I'd like to thank Mr. Markham currently. He sent in just a big box of stuff, cool stuff, parts as parts, and some great locomotives to fix up. If you want to donate some items that'll show up on the channel, check out my description down below, post office box, shipping addresses. Don't forget, keep up with my day-to-day things that are going on around here on the layout. Facebook/Classic Model Trains. I'm Ron. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.